Rick, how you doing, man?
Hey, good morning, Keith Jones. How are you?
I'm happy to see you, man. You know the Sarge back there. Yeah, he's saying hello to you right now too.
He's very quiet. He just doesn't say a whole lot. That's
Dude,
the great thing about him.
that's the gift, man. He is like he's so zen, he's so chill. Oh my God. This guy has a practice, Rick. He's got a practice. And speaking of like being quiet, that's going to be the topic of this podcast, which is don't mistake being quiet with being positive or being peaceful. And when I think about this, I think about the way that I was prior to the practice, the way that I was prior to meeting you and watching the way that you move through life. And what I mean by that is that people sometimes thought that, or I projected that I was this peaceful kind of guy or this very thoughtful guy. When I say thoughtful, not thoughtful in terms of being considerate and kind, but that I was thinking a lot internally. I was a deep thinker.
Mm.
But what was going on inside was something completely different, especially if people upset me or my mind told me that they upset me. They didn't meet my expectations. They weren't acting the way that I thought they should be. What was actually happening was not that I was quiet inside. Oh, there was a storm inside. I was a mess inside.
Mm.
What I was doing is I was closing my heart to them and I
Mm.
was withdrawing and fading back. And so none of that is positive, is loving, or rooted in inner peace. Because on the outside, I may have looked stoic. I may have looked like I had it all together. But inside, the mind was chirping. It had a lot to say. I was being pulled more and more into unconsciousness, and I was closing my heart to other people. So I think it was, worth, bringing this topic up that if you are a person who operates that way, take an inventory, like just kind of step back, be aware. And if you are able to maintain an open heart, and it's not even about maintaining because it's not willful, you
Mm.
just release all the blockages are in your way, all the mind's interpretations about a situation. And in doing so, everything falls away. And what has always been there is an open heart. So if you're able to be quiet with the mind, and the mind is going to chirp, but you're not listening to it, and you're able to feel your heart open to the other person, no matter what they have said, done, or
Mm.
how they show up, or to life events, then you're not only quiet externally, you're peaceful internally. And so, what do you think, Rick?
Well, I was wondering what made the change for you. I mean, at some point you realize, holy cow, I'm not being the way I want to be, or I don't feel good about myself when I'm going through life about this with a closed heart. I think the hardest thing for me to overcome was the idea that I would be too taken advantage of if there was like a complete openness or a willingness to be kind to other people, that somehow that would come back to me and eventually hurt me. And so I realized when I started really digging down deep that the basis for this feeling was the notion that I needed to always protect my heart from hurt. And that's a very valuable lesson, to know that, protection sometimes can mean actually a stultification or a hardening of
Mm,
a heart, which makes it much more
yes.
unpleasant to be alive. So you can have you can have a Teflon heart, but you sure as hell don't get much out of it, right?
Right.
You don't get the kinds of things, the little things in life that mean so much when you interact with another person in a way that is mutually enjoyable. Now, that's not to say that there are things that come up in life that are going to hurt. I don't think you can stop that. And I
No.
think to try it is a mistake, because we end up creating a filter, like a screen that filters out all the good as well as all the bad. So
Right.
you still get hurt, but you're missing out on a lot of things that you normally wouldn't have.
Yeah, I totally agree, Rick. And one of the things that's been helping me too is this thing about getting hurt is to notice the heart experiencing the range of emotions that the human heart experiences, whether
Yeah.
it's love, whether it's excitement, joy, or whether it's pain and disappointment or hurt, that I'm the observer, the objective observer, watching the heart go through that and celebrating that that I have been so committed to staying open that I can celebrate my heart feeling all those things without being so identified with it that I think it's me.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, has been really, really helpful. And you asked the question like, so how did I get here?
Yeah.
For a long time, I wasn't here. I was so deep into withdrawing from people, like you said, to protect myself. But protect myself from what? I mean, from life, because if I put up a barrier, I'm not only putting up a barrier or a fence to what I don't want to get in, but it also serves as a barrier to what I would want, what I would like to get in. I'm missing out on the possibilities of love and joy and connection and friendship and all these other things that I could be, enjoying and experiencing. So what is the remedy is don't put up a fence and just know that these are things that the heart will experience, and you're just observing it and you are lost in the wonder of it. You appreciate the wonder of it all. And
Yes.
that's been really key for me, Rick.
That's so true for me too, Keith. I've experienced the very same thing, and sometimes when I feel like you know, I'm saying something that makes me very, very vulnerable. Here's an example of maybe meeting a new friend, somebody who doesn't know me, and maybe I would be, my normal way is just to be transparent and to be, say whatever I feel about what's going on with me because I feel comfortable in life, I think, with most folks. And so if I do that, there's an oversharing that happens with a lot of people. And sometimes I'll get feedback where it'll be a raised eyebrow or it'll be, or it's something less than, oh, yeah, you're terrific.
Right, right.
I keep this in mind. And this is an important lesson that really helps me. And that is something that Eleanor Roosevelt said years and years and years and years ago, even before I was born. And I'm in the late stages of senility. But Eleanor Roosevelt said, "No one can make me feel less about myself without my consent." And I think that's true. If you realize that I can react to someone's negative feelings in all sorts of different ways, I can say, well, gee, they're having a bad day, or they're suffering from something I don't even have any idea about, or they don't like me, and that's totally cool. There's how many billion people on the planet? And I'm sure if you aren't going to like me, that's okay. That's part of life. So the point is that Eleanor Roosevelt's quote reminds me that I'm the one who actually decides that there's something wrong with me about the reaction that someone else has toward me. So if you have that control, if you just go through life and be vulnerable and be yourself and full of joy and full of observation about life and things that other people may think are a little bit over the top or whatever, it's still who you are. And you have the choice of deciding if that reaction against that is something you want to believe or accept about yourself. That I think the real problem, in life, a big problem for me, was losing myself. You know what I mean by that? I mean, the real problem is losing myself in a way where I'm sort of defining myself by how other people
yes.
react to me. Now, I like it when it's positive. I don't like it when it's negative. But the reality is, neither one matter. The real problem
neither one.
The real problem is what you believe about yourself and how you're going through life. So the ultimate trial of life, in my view, is to try not to obviously hurt anybody, to have compassion, to live your life with meaning, be present, be awake, but not ever to lose yourself. Never to lose yourself. Oh, and that's part of what the meditation idea and being in nature is about, and having good nutrition and taking care of your body and that sort of thing. It's not losing yourself. That's the point. That's the apex of what I think our responsibility is to ourselves as humans.
I agree, Rick. Just to kind of close, to add a few more comments to what you said, I think that's absolutely it. It's not losing yourself. based on what other people, might think, or what you think they might think, or what your mind may tell you about you,
That's
because most of it's negative that it says about you. And even if it was positive, that's still not you, right? You develop an ego around your accomplishments, your achievements, and or the roles that you play in life as a parent, as a spouse, as uh, uh, a child, whatever that is. And then what happens when those roles are changed? There's a death, there's a loss, there's divorce. People move on. Then who are you there? You're still you. But if you identify yourself so deeply with these roles that you play, or your titles, or your achievements, or material things, then I think that's where what you were talking about is you lose yourself, and that's not you. And just to kind of close the loop on this topic, for the longest time, I thought people that were quiet they were the positive ones, because they're not yelling, they're not throwing things, they're not judging and blaming people. Based on what I can see, they're not. What's going in the inside is a completely different story, because that's what it was for me. I was judging and improving people all the time, even if I didn't say anything to them about it. And so that's no better. It's all a form of suffering. And I've just gotten to this point to where I'm committed to not suffering, Rick. The Buddha said all of life is suffering. I'm committed to taking the path that leads to inner peace every single time, with the awareness that in that suffering that life presents is an opportunity. Like, that is the path. The obstacle is the way. So I'll let you close this out, Rick.
I think you just closed this out. I can't add anything more to that, man. I don't want to tarnish that with my old man words.
No,
Great job, buddy.
wisdom. I love you, Rick.
I love you too, bud. See you next time.
See you next time.